stopping that with Zappo and all the cards?
Yeah, ours is through a different issuing bank, so we shouldn't have the same problems that Zappo and some of the others have had.
Right, yeah. And you know that Bitcoin Cash is going to have a hard fork on around May 5th to go up to 32 megabytes. So what do you think about that? Are you bullish? Are you looking forward to that? Or what's your take on increasing to 32 megabytes?
Yeah, I think it's great. In my heart of hearts, I think that if you had no block size limit at all, I think things would still be just fine, although it's hard to prove that that's the case. But 8 megabytes has been fine, 32 megabytes is just fine. I'm sure 100 megabytes would be just fine as well.
Yeah, I think that we get some technical talks with Satoshi. They mentioned something about being able to send 10 gigabytes in a second or something like that.
Yeah, so my experience was actually selling networking equipment before I was involved in Bitcoin, and I watched the progression of selling 1 megabit Ethernet to 10 megabit to 100 megabit to gigabit, and now 10 gigabit, and now we're selling even 40 gigabit and 100 gigabit modules. So that's a million times increase or something in just I'm not that old of a guy, so it gets cheaper and faster and better every single year. So if 1 megabyte is doable today, 1 gigabyte in the future will be doable, and then 1 terabyte will be doable. So it's just thanks to the wonders of Moore's law, and the technology gets faster and better and cheaper every single year. Scaling on-chain by just simply increasing the block size is a long-term solution forever, because they get better and cheaper and faster hardware every single year.
Right, and we've seen that actually just the way you say it, going from 8 megabytes to 32 megabytes in video games, just like that, and then 64 megabytes, 128.
And then the CD-ROMs, and now DVD drives, and it's just getting better and
faster. It just seems like a natural progression in following Moore's law as well. Was Satoshi following Moore's law at some point? I think he was.
I'm sure he was discussing it on the forum originally, and there's an actual quote from Satoshi that said the ultimate solution is just to allow the blocks to get as big as they need to be. And so direct from Satoshi right there.
There you go. So, do you think Gavin Andreessen is going to be joining? I know he already started somehow giving a proposal. But do you think he's going to join? Have you talked to him or something like that? Because that would be good for the community. He was one of the first.
Yeah, I think it would be wonderful if he got more involved again. Gavin Andreessen is one of the. Thanks to Gavin, I heard about Bitcoin. So he went to Free Talk Live, told them about Bitcoin. They talked about it on the air, and I heard about it for the first time back in 2011. So it's thanks to Gavin telling those guys that got to me, and then here we are today at the wonderful Anarchapulco with all sorts of people that are interested in Bitcoin. So I would love to see him involved again. He was one of the most level-headed, calm, wonderful guys, and Bitcoin was incredibly lucky to have him. And it's a real shame how incredibly horribly he was treated by the core people, where they literally revoked his access from the repository that he had shared access to them with originally, under the guise that they were worried that his account had been hacked. And then when it turned out his account had not been hacked, they never restored his access. And then with Jeff Garzik, they just completely revoked his access for no reason at all. And the real reason they did it is because these people were not in agreement with these people that came to Bitcoin much later and wanted to turn it into some sort of fancy settlement layer science project, whereas Bitcoin, right in the title of the white paper, it says it's a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Bitcoin Cash supporters want it to be that cash system. We want it usable for cash for everybody, all of the entire world. If you want to build a settlement layer, that's fine, but don't steal our project to do it. Don't call Bitcoin something that it's not. It's not meant to be a settlement layer. It's meant to be direct person-to-person cash on chain.
Right, and you always say these words. Bitcoin has cheap, fast, and reliable transactions, and you can send anyone to anywhere in the world without asking for permission. So you haven't changed your pitch since like
2011. My pitch has been exactly the same, but that pitch is no longer accurate when describing Bitcoin Core. It's still completely accurate when describing Bitcoin Cash. So I haven't changed my pitch one bit. Bitcoin Core diverted the project in a completely different direction. Bitcoin Cash is still in that right now.
Yeah, so I'm going to be adding a clip of you saying the pitch like as far as I can, go. So what's the pitch? What's Bitcoin?
So Bitcoin, for the first time in human history, allows anyone to send or receive any amount of money with anyone, anywhere on the planet, instantly, basically for free. And there's absolutely nothing anybody, including governments, can do to stop it. And that changes everything for everyone and improves the lives of every single human being on the planet.
That is the truth. You guys have any questions? ¿Quién tiene alguna pregunta para él? ¿Para Roger? ¿No? ¿Nadie se le ocurrió algo? miner.
How do you see all this change, this adoption in worldwide? I don't know, 5 or 10 years. How your perspective for the future?
So right now, people using cryptocurrencies, it's still a little bit strange. Not everybody's using it, but there's a fantastic story. Hey, Chantal? Chantal, can I borrow you for a minute if you don't mind being on camera? Here's a fantastic story. So Chantal was here helping us last year at our Bitcoin.com booth. She's a local from here in Acapulco, Mexico. So somewhere near here. She didn't know anything about Bitcoin until she came. She let us pay her in Bitcoin. Now she's involved in Bitcoin all sorts of different ways. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more?
I started into cryptocurrency because of Senor Riper. I didn't know who he was or anything. He came in my teach Bitcoin. So I paid he took me to lunch and he said, oh, you should pay your lunch with Bitcoin. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And I found out that it was like a big deal. After like 2 months later, I started to read about all the altcoins and everything, and I didn't know who he was until that moment. So right now I start to buy in Bitso, that it's a Mexican company here. You can buy it easily, and I'm really glad to I get into it before it goes really up. Because when it goes really up, right to the moon, I take a little bit from that, and I also invest a little bit more and buy the tips and everything. And right now I'm very happy with it. Continually buying Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash.
That's a fantastic story. She's 1 year into Bitcoin. This is about your 1 year anniversary because she heard about it for the first time at Anarchapulco last year.
Yes.
Now she's back here. She's here just completely on her own because she's interested in it. Are you going to come again next year?
Of course.
Of course.
Of course. Yeah, so I'm coming to this convention because I moved to another city, but I came here because this is a big deal. This is important, and it will be the next crypto. It will be the next currency worldwide. I know for sure. So.
You heard it here first. Cryptocurrencies are going to be the worldwide currency soon. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you.
Yeah, so last question. I guess, there's a lot of controversy. I want you to address the people that are always saying, the trolls, because I also see them in Spanish, they always come to the videos. So you own Bitcoin Cash? Did you start it? They say this is Roger's first coin. What do you say to that people that are accusing you that it's your coin, that you made it, and that it's you and Jihan doing it together, and that it's a scam? What do you say to those people?
It's a bunch of nonsense, and for all the people that are listening to those sorts of comments, stop and think for yourself for a moment. Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin. There's millions of users all over the world. There's all sorts of miners all over the world. There's all sorts of exchanges. I don't own it. Nobody owns it, and that's the power of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is that nobody owns it. Nobody can control it. If I had complete control over Bitcoin, then it probably would already have surpassed Bitcoin Core, everything else at this point. I'm just one guy doing what I think is right in the world, just like the rest of us out there. So stop. The best advice I can give to anybody in any area of life, not just cryptocurrencies, is stop and think for yourself. Or it's what these ideas that you're hearing on the internet or in some interview, do they make sense? And if they make sense, great. If they don't make sense, then push them aside and go on and find something that does make sense in your life. So think for yourself. Don't just believe it because somebody told you it.
All right, well, I'm going to be seeing you in Tokyo. We're going to be going to that conference. Maybe you can give us another interview.
Fantastic. Yeah. I look forward to seeing you in Tokyo for the Satoshi's Vision conference coming up at the end of March.
And maybe I can get a t-shirt.
Absolutely.
Hey, thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
All right.